Hey there, everybody. I have just pulled over in my car. There's something that's been on my mind for some time that I wanted to get off my chest, and it relates to coronavirus, and probably one of the number one things that we should be talking about, which hardly anyone is. Firstly, right off the bat, for those of you who don't know me, I'm an internal medicine doctor, and since the start of the pandemic, I have treated loads of COVID-19 patients, ranging from mildly unwell to extremely sick, nearing the ICU. I have looked them in the eyes, I've talked to them, I've talked to their families, and I must also add, I have also had coronavirus myself, so I do believe that I know what I'm talking about. In terms of risk factors for getting very sick from coronavirus, we know that two of the biggest are age, advanced age, and having any chronic comorbidities, i.e. underlying medical conditions. But there is a third risk factor. Many people believe this to be the third biggest risk factor, and that is being overweight or obese. 70% of the United States population is overweight or obese. That is a latest statistic. It's truly shocking and has gone up alarmingly over the last couple of decades. We know as well that being overweight or obese, defined as having a BMI greater than 25, is also linked to many other medical conditions as well, including diabetes, heart disease, other lung conditions as well. Think about this though for a moment, considering that this is such a big risk factor for getting very sick from coronavirus, that 70% obviously puts the United States at a huge disadvantage. And to be fair, it's not just the US, other Western countries are quickly catching up. The UK is not too far behind. And we know even in China, obesity rates have gone up alarmingly over the last decade or so. But the problem is that we have normalized obesity to the extent that we hardly talk about it. I bet most people out there don't know what a big risk factor being overweight or obese is for getting very sick from coronavirus. And this is not fat shaming, it's not trying to embarrass people. But if we as doctors are not talking about this, then who else is going to be doing it? I've given up on the media. I really have. They are all about clickbait, sensationalist headlines, provoking an emotional response. So done with them. I'm not optimistic at all that we'll get any decent education from the media. Because imagine if the media executives just got together and decided, okay, we're going to devote only 5%, not 20%, 10%, but 5% of our time every day to educating people on what they can do to be successfully fighting off coronavirus. Imagine they did that, what a difference it would make. Let's think about some other countries. Many countries have had very low rates of people getting very ill from coronavirus. Japan springs to mind, and it is believed that this is in large part due to the fact that they have very low rates of people being overweight or obese. What exactly are we waiting for then? Well, it seems that a lot of people are holding out for a vaccine, and this is a big mistake because a vaccine may or may not come. I mean, usually vaccines can take decades to develop, but even when a vaccine does come out, will it or won't it work? I mean, we have a flu vaccine, but millions of people who get it still end up getting the flu because we keep getting new strains. And I also guarantee you that the second a COVID-19 vaccine comes out, within a day or two, you will start hearing stories about people who have had side effects, experienced weird reactions, or even developed strange syndromes. And these stories are going to spread like wildfire online. They're going to start scaring people, and then many people won't even get the vaccine because of this. Unless we mandate people to get the vaccine, which I'm not sure you can do in the United States, a vaccine is unlikely to be a game changer. How about other treatments that people are waiting for? I mean, we haven't been very successful as a medical community for getting other treatments when it comes to viral respiratory infections, so I'm not too sure about COVID-19. The radio silence on the overweight and obesity epidemic has to stop. We need to be pushing this message. Instead of all of these sensationalist headlines, why don't we just push the fact that people should be eating, say, an extra couple of vegetable portions every day, cut back on processed food, saturated fat, red meat, get out there and exercise more. All of these things will make a huge difference potentially to the obesity epidemic. And I know it's not going to be a magic cure, but we have to at least try, because this is such a big risk factor, which is totally in our control.